So my name is Anna and I am an intuitive healer. What does that mean? Does anyone know? What is an intuitive healer?
You identify the problems through your intuition?
Yes. What is the intuition? First of all, let's rewind. What is healing? What is healing?
Unblock all those stuff that's...
Yeah, healing is the body's ability to release energy blocks when touched in any way, intuitively or hands-on, by another energy. So when we look at the body, or when we look at life, or anything that is around us, we're looking at what is material. We call it materiality, substance. When we look at healing, we look at space, which is the space in between the cells of the body, where everything is energy. Everything around us is energy. Most that is around us is what we cannot see. It's only a small part that we can see with the physical eye. Most communication goes on by feeling. And some people call this the sixth sense. Now, for me, it's one sense, but we feel different frequencies because all energy is about feeling different vibrations. So when I work, we become one energy basically. And I go into the body or into one aspect or different aspects of the body. And I feel what is in harmony and what is out of harmony. Because when for instance, we're looking at illness or whatever, emotions, when everything is in harmony, it all feels congruent. It all feels right. It's like the energy, everything works, it feels good. But whenever you have a dissonance, okay, there's a block somewhere, and it's the skill of the healer by connecting to that boing that's going on in the body to identify what it is and to give voice to it. Now, when we give voice to it, that means we make an interpretation of the energy. And the way that we do that is to use the intuition. Everyone has it. When we do the healing, once something has been voiced, then it means that it can vaporize, it can evaporate, because then it has no more material substance, no more purpose, and no more relevance in the body. Because everything that is about upset or anything that doesn't work for us is really an opportunity for us to grow. But unfortunately in life we're not taught that anymore. We're taught if he's sick then he has to take a medicine. Nobody says let's go deeper and find out what's caused this, or why this person is out of harmony with the environment, with themselves, with their relationships, with everything. And the moment that we can get that person back into their own space and back into their own vibration, everyone has your own vibration, then it means that life opens up and healing takes place. Now, what is intuition? You gave a very good response. Does anyone else have any ideas of what intuition is? The sixth sense, what does that tell you? What are our five senses? What are the five senses? Somebody? Sight? Yeah. What else? Hi there. Hearing? Yeah. Taste? touch. And what else? Smell. Yeah. Within ourselves, when I say the body, I mean the greater body, right? There's the body that you can see and the body that you can't see, the energy body. We have what we call the extrinsic, what does that mean? What does extrinsic mean? X. What does X mean? External. Yeah. And then we also have the intrinsic. What is intrinsic? It's your internal. So you have actually 10 senses, 5 outside and 5 inside. But most people only use the senses that is on the physical body. And the sense that people call the sixth sense is the intuition. And another, can anyone give me another name for it? It's the gut feel. Everyone has a gut feel, right? The stomach is a kind of a primitive brain. So right in the early days, I mean, all animals have an instinct. You can see sometimes animals stops and they're feeling energy. And then they make some interpretation, some decisions from the communication, and they move on. The problem with us as humans, we have too much going on around us. It's too busy, and as well, there's too much technology. Technology actually upsets the working of nature, but it's just how it is. I mean, nature will adapt and is adapting, but when we are in this space, we tend to forget. It's like we have a radar, and everyone has a radar. You feel most communication happens when it's not spoken. You know, you meet somebody intuitively, you like them. Why? You can't put a voice to it. You just feel there's something about them that you like. Or on the other hand, you might meet somebody that you don't like. You don't know why. Can't put a word to it, but there's something about that person or a situation or a job. You get a sense, you know, oh, it's time to do this. How do you know? People say, how do you know? You say, I don't know, I just feel that I have to do it. It feels right. Is the resonance. And everyone has the basics. In order to be very good in terms of the intuition, you have to practice. Actually it's your inner voice. And it's the voice of spirit speaking to you. But most people don't listen. We're trained now to pay no attention to the inner voice. We're trained only to believe what the physical eye can see. And because it's material, most people give more value to it, to the material, than they do to the immaterial. But it is in the immaterial, it is the voice of spirit that should, inverted commas, count first, because it's neutral. And it's about you and it's for you. Why? Because it's yours. See? It's a space where if you really listen to spirit, you don't need to please anybody. You don't need to seek approval. It's spirit seeking to express itself through you and share that beauty of your inner self, of who you are at soul level, with all the people that come up to have a relationship with you. Yeah? Is that clear? It's very simple. So these are actually very complex equations, but very simple. Because ultimately, the reason that we are here on earth is to express ourselves and to be ourselves and to know ourselves, not just as humans, but as spiritual beings having a human experience. What does that mean to you? Are you with me? What does it mean?
Because we, in our souls, we all know why we're here. We have a life mission in here.
Everyone has a life mission.
So we have to find out what our life mission is
Mm-hmm.
to just.
So what is the life mission? What you experience here. Yeah? Yes or no? Yeah. Yeah. There's one life mission for everybody. It's called Be You to the Full. Be beautiful. That's all. But it's not about physical beauty. What is it about? Yeah, what does that mean? Yeah. What does it mean to you? Fulfillment. What is fulfillment? What is fulfillment? Fulfillment. You are satisfied, you are content, you are at peace. And peace is the one thing everyone seeks in life. Because when we are peace, right, we are space. That's all. We are space. That's who we are. And around us is the material rubbish that most of the world is made up of. And the problem is that most people, their attention is drawn here, and it fills their inner space. And so when it fills your inner space, you can't think. The intuition is the voice of the heart. Not the physical heart, and it's not the emotional heart, it's the spiritual heart. And the spiritual heart is made of space with you in it. It's your space. Most of the time we're pulled into someone else's space. And most of the time we forget that our space is not just small, it's actually infinite. We're infinite beings. What does an infinite being mean? Somebody? No end and no beginning. So what does that mean? It just is. Life just is. Life is eternal, isn't it? And life is also infinite. Right? If life is eternal and infinite, who are you?
expanding cosmos.
Excuse me?
Part of the expanding cosmos.
You are the expanding cosmos. In the part of the body that you can't see, but you can feel. Now, most of the time, all right, your sight is turned outwards. When we have the intuition, your sight is turned inwards. And you start listening to your inner voice. Where does your inner voice come from? Yes. What is your higher self? It's a part of the soul. So if you see yourself here in body, you're having the human experience right here, right now. You're also having magnificent experiences that you can't see. And the whole purpose is to bring all of that into you so you can express it out into the human self. Some people do it in art, some people do it in dance, some people do it in song or in writing, some people just by being themselves. You know, sometimes people walk into the room, they have so much charisma, not carrying their plant with them, have so much charisma, you just feel, wow, you know, here's a special energy, because we're all made of energy. So what happens is that you have a connection to that part of you that is infinite and eternal. So it's infinite and it's eternal. Which means what? What does it mean? If you have a part of you, or if that part of you that is infinite and eternal, what does it mean? Unlimited, yeah, there's no limit. So what does it mean in terms of the information that can come to you? Endless. Unlimited. Why? Because that's who you are. Right? Isn't that fab? You're having a human experience that in the context of eternity, if this is eternity, of course, we can't draw it, but you're having this human experience, basically, that's it. Right? And if you take the purpose that we are here to express ourselves and to be beautiful and to be in joy, to enjoy our lives and to be fulfilled, that kind of puts it in a different context, doesn't it? Because most of the time we're taught to think small. And we're taught according to, you should. You should. And when you have a big idea, the problem also is, that big idea was given to you by Spirit, right? Who is Spirit? Who's Spirit? It's you. You're an aspect of Spirit. Spirit is all that is. Creative source. So an idea is funneled down to you from Spirit. What's the first thing you do? From Spirit? What's the first thing you do? When you get an idea, an insight or an idea, it comes to you from Spirit, right? It comes from inside. It's an impulse, yeah. So what's the first thing you normally do? A lot of people tell somebody, you judge it, and after you've judged it and you've reframed it 100 times, and then you say, I can't, and I won't, then what do? You tell someone, right? And what happens when you tell somebody? Often, talk you out of it. They ask you why. They diminish. So instead of being an unlimited potential for you to step into, they put fear in. Risk assessment, risk management, whatever. They put fear in. And then what happens to your desire to expand? And then you start with the what ifs. So you're given by Spirit what? Right? And you're then supposed to decide, as part of your growth and your experience, how. But what happens is that we diminish the idea with the what ifs. And the what ifs are just the expressions of fear. Fear doesn't exist except in the mind. But when we are in a space of fear, we become fear. We become fear, and fear blocks, it puts an energetic girdle around here. Third chakra is also where the primitive brain is. It's locked. You don't vibrate. And so you're locked in the what ifs and you become paralyzed. And then your journey with Spirit, which is all about growth, right? You're walking through this in life, it becomes one massive stress factor. One of the situations, there's a big situation in the earth today, is how much value we put on money and material wealth. Because then when you're so focused on achieving that, which of course is it's a necessity, right? But it's out, with most people it's out of balance, because when you're working to achieve, or you're striving for money, what happens? You don't know what happens?
Yeah, it's difficult to tell, right? You can't see what's going to happen.
You can't foresee. Where's your inner sight? It's your intuition. You're locked in fear. You can't see. You can't see your way forward. And your intuition is intended to give you an inner visual understanding of how to take forward life as simple steps. We make it too complicated. When we're stuck on money, for instance, stuck on material wealth, we forget ourselves. I'm not saying that money is wrong or bad. It's a necessary. In life, it's how it works. It's an energy. But when people forget about your power to create and focus just on the things to create, these are material things. They don't last forever. You cannot buy joy. You can only be joy. You cannot buy happiness. You can only be happy. You cannot buy light, inner light. You can only be that. So when people forget this and focus on the exterior, there's a lot of very rich people out there, a lot of them are happy too, who have all the money in the world, but none of the spiritual concepts. Now, so what? Questions? Everyone breathing? People stop breathing? It's not a criticism, by the way. Just sharing concepts and constructs.
So if you have unlimited...
When you have
unlimited potential information,
yeah.
Intuition grows, or
You have to use it.
You
Yeah.
get older.
Yeah.
Right?
That's right.
So how does that work in the sense that you start with infinite,
Yeah.
but you don't realize it until later in life?
Yeah. Well, babies are born with infinite. Young children are born with a sense, and young children are born with an expanded vision. Somebody asked me the other day, I think someone was going to be pregnant or pregnant, that when does the soul enter the body? And the soul enters the body the moment the child is conceived. And the child actually in the body is cognizant on an energy level of everything that goes on around them. And as the child is born, it's still cognizant, and the veil of forgetfulness is put on them the minute the umbilical cord is cut. And they're separated from the spiritual world, but they still hold a lot of this. And in fact, a lot of the healing that I do, in many cases, is from fetal memory, where the child can hear and know what's going on, but can't put a context to it. And so that sits as a part of the memory bank. So we're all born with it. But by the time we're about 4 years old, the mother socializes us out of it. Because the mother requires, unless the mother is aware and awake and is part of a intuitive community. So we're born with it, so you have it within you all the time. So the first step is to use it. And the first thing to ask yourself is, how do I feel about this? How do I feel about this is the resonance. Does it feel good? Does it feel right? And for that, you have to sit in silence. You have to sit in silence. And in the beginning, it's a practice of connecting, A, to energy, and B, to your higher wisdom. And then later, it's like driving a car with gears. You don't think about it. But in the beginning, you have to really think about it, and you have to do it. I say to all my students, you have to practice. If you want to be a great racing car driver, you've got to practice. You want to be a marathon runner, you've got to practice. It's exactly the same concept. You practice to make, this is a muscle, spiritual muscle, to make this so watertight. The first step is practicing. The second step is to be confident in it. That's, I mean, you can practice and practice and practice, but if at the end of the day you're not confident at what comes through for you, then forget it. You're not going to put it into place. And the third step then is to use, this is the energy of the heart, it's the feeling. The third step then is to use the energy of the mind to create your strategy, to map out how you're going to get to where you're told that is your potential. 3 steps, but you have to practice. We all know, we all know. We just know. So it's an acceptance, A, of your greater self. You're humans, but you're spiritual beings having a human experience first. Secondly, life is about growth, fulfillment, joy, and love. Thirdly, how do I achieve that? Because when you have joy, fulfillment, growth, and love, the money comes automatically. Relationships become much easier because you're living that part of yourself that is anchored in the value of who you really are and not in material value. Any questions? It's quite simple, but if you're confused, just let me know. Anyone got questions?
I find it very difficult to be confident about life.
Yeah.
I don't know whether that's intuition or whether it's my mind that's making that up.
Well, then how do you become confident? You feel the energy. Yeah, you trust yourself. You feel the energy. And you also set a boundary to spirit, because it's spirit that gives us the information. So you say, okay, I'm going to go with this because it makes me feel excited. The energies uplift. You feel inspired. The energy is high when you feel inspired. You want to do it, you go for it, and you give a boundary to spirit. Okay, well, we'll do this, and give me a sign early on if it's not the right direction. Give me a sign. It's a dream, or somebody will hear something, and boom, everything locks together.
For example, I ask the questions, and then I'll ask, okay, give me some sign, and then there might be some initials or some numbers, and which you have to interpret as well. That I often I will interpret in a negative way, and then I'll
Okay.
go back.
Good. We'll enjoy that. Life, the problem with humans is that life is about oneness, right? Life just is. Things are just the way they are. But it's how do we interpret? And we're always taught It's either good or it's bad. It's either right or it's wrong. It's either positive or it's negative. We taught this, and most of the time, and in some societies they're taught more than others, they always look here. Bad, wrong, negative. Some societies are more risk adverse, other societies take risk. It's just the way of thinking that you're brought up in. Doesn't mean it's bad, but it means that life is really complicated. Because if someone says, why are you doing this? You say, because it just feels so right. You can't put logic, but it keeps it really, really simple. You're going to do it as long as you feel uplifted. And the minute you feel the energies drop, you ask yourself, so what is the message from Spirit? Am I being told here? What is the relevance of what is being shown to me? And all the time you feel energy. Your radar is working all the time. And when the radar is working all the time and you are in your own space, you actually don't care very much about what other people think, because it feels right to you. How can they argue? They're not in your space. You are the only one in your space, and it is you and your guides, your guidance. Each of us has a series of guides that walk with us. And when you are able to connect to them specifically and to make friends with them, you actually have a conversation with them. And in the beginning you have to do it, but later it's natural. Feel it. Everybody has a guide or a series of guides, because these are the ones that you ask. Because why? These are higher energies. They are not in body. Their role is to guide us, but we don't listen to them. We block the crown chakra and we look out and we get definition of ourselves from the outside rather than from the inside. If you know yourself as an eternal being that has access to infinite information, okay, the challenge is the discernment. It's like, okay, so I've got this information, what am I going to do with it? That then becomes power, and that then becomes strength. Because you know what, and you know how. That's all you need. Why? Doesn't matter. So what? Every why has a why. You can get stuck in whys. That's the overthinking. Becomes the what ifs. It feels right. I'm going to follow my intuition. And then you do it. Questions? Clear? Okay. So let me ask a question to you. Who has had an experience of the intuition giving them a message? Anybody?
This morning I woke up with a sore tooth, and I actually, when I was down doing the walking meditation, I just asked, I said, what is going to help this tooth? And then it just came to me, like, to go up to, salty water.
Salt water.
Yeah, and it has helped.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah. You have to make the question very clear. And then the answer will come to you very, very clear. When you have questions for Spirit and you need an answer, break it up into small sound bites. Preferably yes and no. Start with yes and no. The answers are very specific, and you have to be silent. You have to be in your own space. So just close your eyes a little bit. Just close your eyes. We're going to do an exercise. And you feel the energy of yes. You feel that energy. And now you feel the energy of no. Quite different vibration, isn't it? It's simple, but in order to be connected to it and to be able to feel it, you have to be aware all the time. So now close your eyes again. I'm going to ask you a question. So you say to yourself, my name is, and you give your name. And you feel the resonance. And now everyone, you say, my name is Frida. Feel how you feel when you say my name is Frida. There's stress, isn't there? There's very different energy. Can you feel that? Okay, now we do a context. This is how you check. Say your name first, feel the resonance, and then say my name is Frida. Second, feel the dissonance. This is how you check. Can you feel the difference? Yeah. Just keep your eyes closed. And just connect your own energy. Feel how you feel. This is your unique energy in the world. Everyone has their own vibration and it is all beautiful. You're all beautiful inside. And just feel your own vibration and just breathe. And now say something to yourself, whatever you like, something that you maybe have always wanted to do or you would like to do. And feel how it feels. Does it feel good? Because if it feels good, if you go into the energy itself will tell you, does it want to be experienced? Does it want to be expressed? The answer is yes or no. That is the simplest basis of the intuition. That's your what. You see, now anyone who feels a bit of fear and stress, that's the mind kicking in, and that's okay, be aware. But if you feel uplifted, then your second question to your intuition is how? Now, sometimes when we sit, now when I need an answer to something, I often say to myself, I'm just going to sit in meditation till I get the answer. I'm not going to get up, I'm just going to sit. And it always comes. Because, you know, I've given myself a boundary, I'm just going to sit, it comes. So the question, that is the what. Then the second question is how. There's two ways you can do it. You can then, in your communication with spirit, which is now using your intuition, you say, show me how to do it. Simple, show me. If we give spirit a simple question, we get a simple reply back, because we are in our own space, we are in our own silence, and that means we are in our own spirit. Show me. And you will either get the insight on how to do it, and boom, away you go, you get so excited, you have so much, you know, so many ideas, or things happen slowly, you might get a dream, whatever, slowly and one step at a time. And then the next thing you do is in your own space, and you have to practice all of this. I've got actually some meditations on my website that talk you through it. They're all 15 minutes. So in the beginning it's always good to have someone talk you through it, but later when you become masters, because you've been practicing, it's like this, you feel the answers. So then the next thing is to have a conversation with yourself. Because you're having a conversation, you with yourself is your human self having a conversation with your spiritual self. And for the answers to come, You just have to stay silent. And I do this all the time. And sometimes I'm in the meditation, I'm having a conversation, I ask a question about something and the answer comes, and it is something that I would not have expected. And that's how I know that that's spirit talking to me. I didn't expect that answer. Wow, and I got it. And then you have to believe in it. Because if you don't believe in the answer, you don't believe in yourself. So it's a big part of it is to believe with all the different layers and all the different things that we talked about. You have to remember that you're an infinite being, that you have these guides that you talk to. And some people connect to their guides, they see them and they change. And then you move forward. Life is just about the progression. It's about moving forward. It's 1 minute, 1 hour, 1 day at a time. That makes a lifetime. But most people, when they're here, they want to see here. Forget about it. Too complicated. Break it up into small sound bites. Because then you feel supported by yourself and your intuition as you achieve each step. But when you're trying to get guarantees for something 3 years in the future, too far in advance. Set the goal, it's your long-term goal, but then break it into sound bites. And each step of the way you ask your intuition, show me and give me proof. You will get it. Questions? All right, so we'll just do another exercise. If you just close your eyes. And as we said earlier, everything is about energy. And so energy and light are the same things. Everything is about light. Even if we think things are in the shadow, it's still about light, because darkness cannot exist in the light. You go into the light and you remember your greater selves by feeling your own vibration and giving yourself some space. Always. It doesn't have to be every day, it doesn't have to be hours, 10 minutes. Sit and connect to your vibration and feel it. And now you feel the energy of yes, and you feel the energy of no. Very simple. Now, I'm going to invite you to feel the energy of when you're happy. See, it's high, energy flows. And now in contrast, I'd like you to feel the energy of anger. You see the contrast? How do you diffuse anger? Most people store it away. If you are connected to the energy of anger, you breathe into it. You accept it, because when you accept it, you're harmonizing the energy. I see you, I know you. You are relevant for that moment, and only that. And so I breathe into you to harmonize you, and you can no longer exist. You see, you can feel the energy. If you're yawning, actually you're releasing energy, which is actually very good. Yeah, it's very good. So now we feel how you feel, for instance, if you've had some wonderful news, unexpected joy. That's inspiring. And now you feel the energy of grief. These are very distinct energies, and they're all living together within our consciousness. And as you become more aware of them, you can manage them more easily. So now bring into the body the energy of fear when you're afraid of something, like public speaking or something. Can you feel the energy in the room? Full of fear. And now you feel the energy of your own love. Just feel how it feels, and from yourself, just reflect it out into the world. Just into the room will do. Just send it out and feel. See how the energy in the room changes. Essentially, love is who you are and all that is. And it's the beginning and the end of all life. Whenever we are in fear, we forget that we are at the beginning and the end. We are life. And we are love. And we come out of love, and we therefore come out of life. And love is the only thing that heals. It is the only thing that grows, and it is the only thing that moves you forward easily. And it's the one thing that is not taught in the schools. Oh, there's many things not taught in the schools, but it's a major thing. Intuition used to be taught in the ancient teaching temples. That needs to be taught in school, because when you connect to the intuition, when you connect to the inner voice, you can speak to nature. You can speak to the flowers and the trees. You can make it rain, and you can stop the rain. You can talk to volcanoes, because everything has a voice and an expression, and the voice and the expression is silent. It's done through the intuition. And then when you're able to connect to all the different aspects of life, I have a student who's coming to work with me when I'm in Hong Kong, who's going to learn how to heal animals and to talk to them using energy. That's her role. That's her journey and her purpose. You'll be able to talk to your pet dogs and your cats, this unspoken communication, find out what they're thinking. I have a friend in Japan. She had a 19-year-old cat. When she left Shanghai to go home to Kobe, she left the cat behind. It was so old. And then after a year, this cat was still going strong. She said, well, I'd really like to bring the cat with me to Kobe, but I'm really afraid. So I said, ask the cat. Duh. All right, ask the cat, do you want to come to Kobe? And the cat said, yes. So she brought the cat. I think the cat is 23 years old now, still going strong. Nothing happened. Woke up from the journey and owned the home. Wonderful. But that's by asking that question through the intuition, connecting with the cat, she got the answer. All right. What did you feel? Yeah, because you're connected to yourself. Inner being becomes in charge. Your energy expands. Isn't that lovely? Look at the energy in the room, it's beautiful. What did you feel?
Availability.
Availability.
Something.
Nice. Expansion.
Yes.
Yeah, you can't put it into words, but you feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, good. All right.
Peace.
You feel peace. Yeah, it's lovely, isn't it? Yeah. All right. Actually, you have a very big energy. If you studied spirit, you'd go a long way. It'll answer a lot of your questions. Maybe read a little bit more. Yeah, there's many books out there. Well, you can email me and give you some beginner ones. What about you?
Well, I think a lot of these concepts are actually very new to me. So,
Oh, wonderful.
so I'm actually analyzing them. And
Okay, that's good. You need to be discerning. I always say that this kind of work, you've got to push against your own values. It's got to feel right. And then, you know, as you grow older and you become more experienced, maybe read a bit more, they'll become more natural. It's work that was, it's ancient wisdom, was taught in the ancient teaching temples, and it's coming back. It has different names, but the world is waking up to energy. So, and it's not just energy, the philosophy, it's the application. What can you do with it? And you can do a lot with it. You can heal, you can team build, you can forecast stock market, you know, all these things, you know, you get answers and you feel safe. How do you feel?
Questioning.
Yeah, good.
And also at the same time a bit lighter.
Yeah, your energy shifted. It's good. It's good. Xin Sang.
Feel comfortable.
Yeah, feel comfortable. You did. That's good. And more gentle inside. Yeah, quiet.
I feel like I'm not thinking a lot of things.
Yeah, feel silent. It's good. Lang Loi.
I feel excited.
You feel excited? Good. It's an exciting time because Spirit is awakening again. People are getting connected and there's so many applications. Young lady, Miss
Peace.
Beautiful.
Peace.
You feel peace? Yeah, you look very good. Your eyes are really fab. Calmness, yeah. Because you know that you know. We call it our knowing. And you know, it was said by one of the great masters, know yourself and the truth shall set you free. When you see yourself as more than humans, when you see yourselves as infinite beings with massive potential and all the information that is able to communicate to you, then what can you not do? Everything is possible. Just decide what. And Spirit will give you, I mean, Spirit gives you the what, but it comes and then take that what and then grow it into the how. And that becomes your life. So I can't does not exist. It's give me a minute, let me think about it. I'm not sure, let me feel it out, and I'll come back to you. End of story. No more internal blah 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 blah. Yeah, fab. Lovely. Thank you, everybody. That was really enjoyable. Thank you.